Hi everybody, it's Saratoga. So I'm doing another audio message for you guys today because I'm still not able to do video. My back is still healing, but it seems like you guys really enjoyed this the last time I did it. So I figured this is a great way for me to stay connected and keep sharing my thoughts with you all. Before I start with today's topic, which is about the current state of the world, which is really massive, you guys. Before I start, I want to thank you all so much for all your support, your loving messages, your healing messages, and for all of you guys who hyped my last audio video. That was so helpful. I really appreciate so much you guys doing that. So yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will keep coming in this way until I'm in a place where I can do video again. Okay, so let us begin. I want to talk to you about the current state of the world. Oh my goodness, this is a very big topic, so I'm just going to sort of give you an overview today, and then maybe we can go into greater detail as we go forward. But let me just say this. I think there is a massive unseen change happening on this planet right now. I actually think we are shifting out of our old way of recognizing linear timelines into something very, very different. I don't know what that looks like at this point, but something very different is in front of us. So let's just take a big picture view for a moment. I think we are experiencing and are going to experience even more of a convergence of AI, disclosure, and highly advanced technology. This is real different from what we were thinking was going to happen before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of these three things and just give you sort of a general overview. Let's start with the disclosure topic, extraterrestrial disclosure. There are so many things popping up about this right now, more and more. It's increasing. Obviously, there's a reason. Now, I'm going to say something that might surprise you. There is a slight possibility that disclosure could be real. I know we've all been focused for a long time on Project Bluebeam, the fake alien invasion. I'm not so sure that's the entire story. It could be. I think we need a little more time to know for sure how this is going to unfold. But I noticed that lately they're bringing out the subject of actual extraterrestrial entities. They're not just talking about craft anymore. So it is possible that they are going to disclose actual real ET involvement. Now, before we talk about whether that's good or bad, let me just point something out. I think we need to recognize that normal reality on any planet includes extraterrestrials. It is not normal that we have been on this planet for who knows how long under the false premise that we are the only life form in the universe. That is not normal, you guys. Having extraterrestrial involvement with your planet is entirely normal. So I think we need to shift our perspective and recognize, yeah, that's normal. So what if it turns out that they actually do have involvement with real ETs? I'm not going to say whether they're good or bad. That's another subject. But what if it turns out they actually have real involvement with ETs and they choose to show us that? You know, Trump, I think somebody just sent me something that Trump just posted, an image, obviously an AI image, but of him walking with a gray and other government officials, a gray alien. It was obviously not real, but why? Why would he post that with no caption? Well, maybe to get people used to the idea of seeing an alien entity with government officials. I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. So let's imagine for a moment that they actually are going to let us know this. How should we react? Here's how I think we should react, you guys. We should react by calling these controllers absolute total jerks for being outright liars and pretending for decades, for longer, that, oh, there's no ETs. If you think there's an ET, you're a crazy person. We should respond by calling them out. We should never react to this with fear. We should only react to it by calling them out as outright liars for all these decades, keeping us in the dark. Now I want to bring up something else, and this is all going to sound a little bit random, but Stephen Greer, as far as I know, he's promoting the narrative that the way they got all their advanced technology is by retrieving crashed UFOs and also by shooting down UFOs. Now, I don't know if I 100% believe that, because if that were true, then that would mean that we have weapons aimed at every single thing that flies here from somewhere else. If that were the case, why in the world would any ETs ever come to this planet? Why would you come to a planet where you know you could be shot down by a bunch of crazy people with weird weapons? You'd have to be insane to come here. So I don't know if I believe that. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And what would be the point of them coming here anyway? Why would they even bother? So whatever these controllers have planned for us when it comes to disclosure, we need to be very, very careful how we process their messages. Here's what I mean by that. You know, we have been so conditioned to laugh at anyone who believes in extraterrestrials. Now, I mean, as a collective, we've been conditioned this way, not necessarily individuals. But as a collective society, oh, if you believe in extraterrestrials, you're just a crazy person. We have to be careful that that conditioning does not cross over in the wrong way to where we laugh at something that could potentially be real. Now, let me share with you my actual belief about this. Of course, there is extraterrestrial involvement with this planet. Of course, we are not the only life in the universe. We just don't see everything that is going on. And there could be a lot of reasons for that, good and bad. Probably mostly bad. So I really want to share this little bit with you about disclosure, just to give you some food for thought, just to help you take a step back and not be reactive on any side of this issue, and just wait and see. And with the understanding that if they actually produce true evidence of these beings, then we should be really mad at them for lying to us for so long. Okay, now I want to point out one other thing. I think this is just a general point. I think the controllers are moving their messaging into podcasting. I think they have realized that this is probably the place of greatest influence currently. I've even heard that corporations are paying podcasters to put out whatever narrative they want. They are backing them with lots and lots of money. So now all of a sudden we have a whole bunch of podcasters suddenly talking about disclosure all at the same time. I don't think that's a coincidence. Anyway, so let's move on. Let's talk about AI. They are really trying to stoke massive division about AI. Now, the thing is, everybody came to believe, oh, ChatGPT is my friend. It's my guru. It's my therapist. It's such a fun thing. It's kind of hard to get a consensus of anger with enough people about AI because it's hard to find something physical that you can actually point to. So now I think they figured out a solution to that. They've chosen to point to the data centers because that's physical, that's ugly, that's horrible, and that's physically real. You can measure it, you can see it, you can understand it. So what they're trying to do is to get data centers to equate to AI in people's minds. So if they can get people against data centers, they can get people simultaneously against AI by association. Now, I'm sure there are people out there who are going to say, Saratoga, they're terrible. What's wrong with you? Don't you get it? Well, here's what I don't get. I don't want to start a controversy about data centers, okay? I just want to wait and see what is happening with that. But here's what I'm suspicious about, you guys. There is a tremendous amount of lying going on about these data centers. I don't want to create a controversy. I just want to point out there's a lot of lying, and why would that be the case? For example, they will take a certain piece of land that is huge that is purchased for data centers. The data centers are not going to take up the whole land, but they'll tell you that it is. That's one example of a lie. Let me share with you a very popular data center lie that's being passed around right now. Have you heard the story about the 50,000 people in Lake Tahoe being told they will have to find another source of power because their provider will no longer provide them with electricity in 2027? Have you heard that one? That is a tiny fact that has been cherry-picked from the larger truth to create the impression that the people of Lake Tahoe are being completely abandoned for data centers and that they will have no electricity after a certain date. It's all a lie, you guys. Here's the truth. The provider they have had for years was a very small provider. All that's going to happen is they're going to be transitioning to a better provider. I think they're even going to have more renewable resources involved. So they're going to be better off. But here's the kicker. This transition has been planned since 2009. It had nothing to do with data centers. But this is an example of how much lying is going on. Here's my larger point. They are always creating division and controversy. And here's why I think they do this. They want to have us weakened, fearful, angry, and destabilized so that they can control the narrative when these massive changes unfold. As far as AI goes, it's not going anywhere. It's going to be established as yet another utility. I think they are promoting so much fear around AI because I think they want to maintain the upper hand in how it is used. They do not want ordinary people involved in AI beyond very simplistic ways. That's just another way that they can maintain control. So disclosure is the first thing, AI is the second thing. And finally, there's the issue of the third thing, which is advanced technology. Now, this is kind of a tricky one. I have a feeling that they have reached their limit on their ability to unveil super advanced technology with the belief systems that exist in the world right now. I know that it's looked for a long time like they were going to use AI to create a mass surveillance and control grid. I think this is still unfolding in some parts of the world, but I also believe there are other things in the works. I think some are stepping away from this kind of what I'll call a loser mentality. Because honestly, you guys, it is an absolute loser mindset to think that, oh, the best way to handle things is to control every living human being and keep them locked down forever. That's just a loser mentality. Now, I'm sure there are competing factions in the world that we don't see, some of whom really want to have this lockdown scenario where we are completely controlled and surveillance is the rule of the day. But then I think there are other factions that are thinking, no, we can do something better than that. So I think there's probably a lot of shifting and changing going on behind the scenes, which hopefully could end up putting us in a much better place than we had thought. But here's where I think the disclosure issue might come in. It is possible that they cannot unveil the advanced technology that they want to unveil without disclosing extraterrestrial involvement in their ability to do so. I don't know if I'm right about this. It's just more of a suspicion. I have a suspicion that the ridiculous narrative that, oh, we shot down all of these UFOs and that's how we got the technology. I just don't know if that's going to work. Right now, I find that very hard to believe. I don't see where that fits into anything in terms of how the bigger picture is unfolding. So this is why I'm thinking, maybe there is going to be some truth to their disclosure narrative. Just remember, it's completely normal to have extraterrestrial involvement with your planet. It is completely abnormal and weird to have no extraterrestrial involvement with your planet. If that's the case, something has gone very, very wrong. So I'll leave it at that. Let's just remember that we are part of a large, massive cosmic ecosystem. It's not a militaristic system like so many New Age people want you to believe. It's actually a natural ecosystem, not very different from the ecosystem of the planet Earth itself, that has countless life forms on this planet. No one even knows how many life forms are on this planet. Do you not think that extends into the entire universe? Of course it does. So we are part of a very large ecosystem. Some good, some bad, some a mix. But let's stop believing that it's possible that they can go forward on this planet. This planet can evolve and advance in technology while playing this game that there's no one else out there and we're all there is. Because frankly, what we've done so far as a humanity on this planet, we just don't look smart enough to do a whole lot more, if that makes any sense. Okay, so that's my general current overview of the state of our planet Earth. Now, I think there are two main things that we need to do now. Number one, we have to stop being so reactive to their messaging, and we must stop buying into all of their fear and division. All of that is designed to destabilize us as a human population and make us easier to control as they enact all of these massive planetary changes. And secondly, we need to become extremely rational. We need to rethink how we define human intelligence. See, most of us on this planet suffer from what we learn in schools of the old world that were simply and intentionally designed to produce obedient employees. That world is dying, and that old mindset will no longer serve us. We need to step away from that and rethink how we define our own intelligence. Intelligence is not defined by being an obedient slave to society and the media. That's not intelligence. That is compliance and obedience. So most people on Earth have those patterns deeply embedded in their minds. We need to free ourselves of those patterns. We need a fresh start. We need to open up that we human beings possess a higher level of intelligence, that yes, we can incorporate more advanced technology in a way that makes life better for us and makes our evolution on this planet much easier to pursue in a highly conscious way. But just remember, intelligence cannot be defined by being easily influenced by the media and by social media. Intelligence is defined as the ability to think for oneself in creative and empowering ways. That's who we are as human beings in the real world of things. That's who we are at a cosmic level of being. And if we truly want to evolve in this universe, We need to mentally leave the old dying world of schools, obedience, and social compliance, reactivity and fear, and shift into something far greater, far more profound, and far more aligned with who we really are. Okay, I just thought of one more thing I want to add for you before I go. When I first started working with Telstar and Michael years ago, there was a fad at one point that was called physical immortality. There were spiritual people that were really focusing on spiritual immortality. They wanted to live forever. So one time during an event that we had, Michael asked people, so why do you want to be physically immortal right now? And he's very practical. He said, do you have a job? Do you want to work at your job for 1,000 years? Do you want to keep paying bills for all those years? And he just pointed out the reality of life as it was at that time and said, are you really sure this is what you want? And people were like, oh, yeah, I never thought of that. No, I don't want to work at a job for 1,000 years. So I think that's kind of amusing because things were completely intractable at that time. Nothing was going to change back then. But it is possible that for us to evolve in the powerful ways that we are meant to evolve, that we need to go to a completely new level of consciousness and intelligence here on planet Earth. And I don't think he would say that today. I don't think he would even bring that up today, because that old world is falling apart. And guys, can we just let go of the idea that, oh, the matrix is collapsing so we can go to 5D and the new earth? Can we just let go of that? That's nonsense. I mean, that takes you absolutely nowhere. Okay, I won't go off on that today. Overall, I will have so much more to say about this as we go forward, but this today is at least a start. We need to start making a very profound shift in terms of how we are seeing our world, ourselves, our planet, and our true place in the universe. So I hope this has made sense for you guys. I really appreciate your patience in waiting for my back to heal so I can do video again, but I'm actually kind of enjoying this. This is kind of nice. Okay, everybody, have a beautiful day, my beautiful friends, and I love you all so very much, and I will see you the next time. Much love, everybody. Namaste.